What's up, everyone? It's the Benchwarmers, and today we are back reacting to the awesome divisional matchup between the number 4 seed Cincinnati Bengals at the number 1 seed Tennessee Titans. It was an awesome game, and it came down to the final second to determine who was making it to the AFC Championship game next weekend. So, with a further in-depth analysis, we're going to start with Rohan.
So to keep it short with how the Titans did, their offense was very underwhelming, while their defense was very solid. So starting with their defense, in the red zone, they played quite well. They held the Bengals to only one touchdown, and the Bengals got 4 field goals. So it shows that their defense was at least doing something right. They may have let the Bengals offense come forward, but at least they were able to stop them in the red zone area. And they also got 9 sacks, 3 of them coming from their defensive end. So I think the Titans D line was doing very well. Their linebackers are doing pretty well, but I think their secondary was a little bit weak. But overall, it was a solid performance from their defense. But then for their offense, this is where things get a little bit more messy. Ryan Tannehill threw 3 interceptions. I think this is like his second or third straight game with at least 2 interceptions. And he was mostly just throwing short passes, and all he was doing was trying to facilitate the run offense. I think it really showed where he was weak as a passer, especially deep. And also, Derrick Henry came back from injury, but I think it was still clear that he was injured because he didn't really have that explosiveness that he used to have, and the Bengals D-line was able to stop him a lot easier. And also, combined with that, the O-line was playing poorly. But even though the run offense and Ryan Tannehill were a little bit weak this game, Julio and A.J. Brown were really good. And A.J. Brown had a spectacular touchdown catch later in the game. So I think that goes to show that the Titans should rely more on them. So overall, it was a so-so performance from the Titans, but they did have some bright spots. So they have some things to be looking forward to next season.
And let's talk about the other side of the matchup, the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals came off to a rocketing start with a couple of field goals going up 6-0 early. And their offense was really the story of the day. And not always for a good reason. As mentioned by Rohan, their offensive line was at times atrocious, allowing for 9 sacks to Joe Burrow this entire game. Now, we knew that coming into this game, Joe Burrow was the most sacked quarterback in the league this season, but we didn't expect 9 sacks in this game. And less did we expect him to actually brave through that and have an amazing performance despite that. In this game, he had 348 passing yards. And although he did take 9 sacks and threw an interception, he was one of the main reasons why the Bengals were able to pull out the win eventually. And that's because of his consistent performance and his connection with his wide receivers. First, we need to talk about Jamar Chase, who had some amazing playing, including a 57-yard grab to get the scoring barrage started in the first quarter, and some really clutch plays to T. Higgins and CJ Uzoma, the tight end. Both of them ended up with 7 receptions on the day, and just a plethora of weapons in this Bengals offense proved to be too much for a really stout Titans defense throughout the year. Additionally, when you look at the run game, it was again very weak because the O-line was terrible in this game. Joe Mixon, their star running back, had 14 carries for only 54 yards, and that is including a 16-yard rushing touchdown. So realistically, if you remove that, he just had like around 2 to 3 carries, 2 to 3 yards per carry in the game. When you look at the defensive side of the ball, that is where they shine. You had some amazing tackles throughout the game, and you had 3 interceptions, including the game-sealing one, which happened with around a minute remaining, and that one really just sealed the game for the Bengals, as they were able to put themselves in field goal range moving forward, and ultimately they were able to pull out the victory in the final seconds with an Evan McPherson go-ahead field goal.
Yeah, the Burrows looked very good in this game. And it's going to be interesting to see how they perform going forward in the AFC Championship next week. So we don't yet know the result from the other AFC divisional game between the Bills and the Chiefs. So we'll just have to speculate about what will happen if they face either team. So against the Chiefs, the Bengals actually did play the Chiefs during the regular season and beat them by 3 in a very, very close game. And they definitely do have a chance to beat the Chiefs again. But the Chiefs are still definitely the favorites. They have been in the Super Bowl the past 2 years, and they do just have that extra playoff experience that gives them a slight edge. But I think the Bengals still definitely have a strong chance against them. And then the Bills would also be a very tough competitor to go against. They have a very strong offense. Obviously, they just like destroyed the Patriots. I think it was actually the worst, like the most amount of points Bill Belichick has ever given up in his career. And then obviously the defense is very good as well for the Bills. So this is a very it's a very tough matchup for the Bengals either way, but they've had tough matchups during the regular season and the playoffs, and they've shown that they've been able to persevere in those situations. But even if they don't make the Super Bowl, I think you're still very, very, very happy with how the season went. If you're a Bengals fan, this is a very young team, young quarterback, young running back, young receivers, and the defense is very strong as well. And there's just a very strong future for this Bengals team in general. Obviously, there are still some holes that need to be filled, especially offensive line, as we previously mentioned. So maybe in the first round, you pick someone like Nicholas Petit-Frere or maybe Bernhard Raymond or something like that, and you just try to build up the offensive line and protect Joe Burrow so that he doesn't become the most sacked quarterback in the league again. But overall, the Bengals have a lot to look forward to both this year and in years to come. So I would definitely be excited. I'm a Bengals fan. But that wraps it up for this video reacting to the Bengals versus Titans AFC divisional matchup. It was an amazing game, and I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the divisional games. So this is the Benchwarmers, and we're signing out. See you.